Academica Media. It's the Judy Marty Show, bringing you straight talk and tough love from one of America's most accomplished school administrators.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our live 7-hour live stream here at the Florida Charter School Conference, celebrating 25 years of charter school education in Florida. If you've just joined us, what we are doing is we are live from the exhibit hall here at the Florida Charter School Conference. It is loud, it is bustling, it is so much fun. There's so many great educators here. And what we're going to be doing for the next 7 hours is interviewing some of the coolest people that we know in charter education and the people who serve charter schools and make charter schools thrive to just keep this celebration going. And speaking of people who make charter schools thrive, oh my goodness, the person I'm sitting next to right now has been a charter school principal, a charter school chief academic officer, so experienced in education, both in the K-12 side and the higher ed side. If there is a title in education, she has held it at some point in her life. Most recently now, she is the president of Doral College, a charter school founded higher education institution that specializes in dual enrollment for charter school students and cultivating charter school teachers through its brand new innovative Bachelor's in Education program. And I'm excited to talk to President Marty all about this stuff. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. I know it's a busy day for you today.
Yep. I'm happy to be here. This is, I think, the 20th time that I come to the charter school conference.
Wow.
Yeah, many times when we had to come for new schools that were opening, and we had to be on the grant sessions, etc. But in general, to learn more, always something new to learn, and also to connect with other educators. And I think one of the most important things for educators is to connect with others and to learn. As many years as I've been in education, hasn't been one day in my life that I don't read something that I feel is important to communicate to teachers or to students. And I think that the lifelong learning is one of the most important things that we need to promote in everybody that we educate. When you think about it, who was going to tell me that at my age, I was going to learn to be a queen of Zoom when I did not know 5 years ago even what Zoom was. I was doing conference calls, etc.
And now you're a master of Zoom.
I am. I work Zoom. Even now when we're all back full time, I think that one of the things that we learned from the pandemic is to do a better use of time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I was gathering principals, 40, 50 principals. I had to leave their schools, come to a specific place for a 3-hour meeting and spend an hour of traffic back and forth for information. And now, with the exception of 1 or 2, we're doing those meetings in Zoom. And it works. I even know how to go to special rooms, divide people, do surveys through Zoom, you name it. And if I can learn it, anybody does. Another thing I learned about is Microsoft Teams.
Oh, yes. Microsoft Teams is how we set this live stream up. Ross knows about this. We've been shooting documents back and forth the whole time to get this whole live stream together. Teams is a godsend.
Microsoft Teams is how we now communicate. And we don't forget to read the email, because every one of us, I get a minimum of 400 emails a day. And that's on a good day.
I was about to say, that's a slow day for you, right?
It's a slow day. And when you think about that, sometimes people say, oh, you haven't responded. And I'm saying, because you know how they go down and then you open it up and there's so many on top that you never got to the ones. So right now, I could go to Microsoft Teams. We have several teams. I have one team for budgets. I have teams for the Doral Leadership Institute, team for Doral College, team for the Matter, and I can navigate it. And when somebody says something happened, I could go look it back up.
Yeah.
And that's different.
Using the technological tools that exist for collaboration, huge.
Day.
Yeah.
And we have using now that information for our education program. Our program is a fully online program for education.
So this is a Bachelor's in Education offered by Doral College.
Science in Education in elementary ed.
Okay.
And what we are doing is, all of us know that teacher shortage is one of the biggest issues confronting administrators today. I heard yesterday about the different principle of people that are quitting and giving people 3 days because they cannot stand the pressure.
Wow.
We're also having to go to different fields and get people with bachelor's degree with no education training. And our role is to provide the professional development because it's no longer a matter if they don't work, we let them go. Can't let them go because we don't have anybody else to take their place. So, what is the most important thing at this point for the administrator is to have appropriate professional development for their current teachers.
Yeah.
And so, what we're doing is twofold. One is through Doral College, Bachelor of Science in Education, we are recruiting paraprofessionals and other school employees that have an Associate of Arts degree or that have X number of college credits from the past to get them back into the fall. And we're doing it in a way that is painless for them because we're doing it with an online program. But we found that some of these people needed more encouraging than what an online program could do.
Yeah.
So one of the innovations that we just have done is all of our professors have to have 3 hours of office hours. And we have converted one of those hours to Zoom. And I'm talking to the professors, and the majority of them says that most of their students are showing up for the Zoom. They are showing their projects, they are communicating with each other. And I think that was one of our newest things that we started this summer. And that's is very practical. But now the other part, the new thing is Doral Leadership Institute, which is like an outgrowth of Doral College, is started as a training for future administrators. For many, many years, I would tell Mr. Zulueta, my friend Fernando,
Yeah.
we need to have a principal preparation program because universities are fantastic, but the Ed Leadership program does not give them the practical skills of a day-to-day operation of a school. And most districts have either call it executive internship or they call it principal, whatever it's called. But that's something that requires somebody that already got the master's degree. Most of the time in ed leadership, but even in another master, they could get their ed leadership, but then it's practical modules. And we got a group of principals that became the board. And that was my dream since I started in charter schools. And the dream, had, we have now done 6 different cohorts.
Yeah.
And it works. And we have been placing those people, teachers, into the different coach positions, assistant principal position. The first cohorts that we did, 2 big cohorts of assistant principals. Right now, 80% of those people are already principals or are going to be principals in one of our schools. And even when we get somebody that come to one of our schools and haven't gone through the program because they come from elsewhere, we're putting those people in the program so that they know our way.
Let me take a step back, because I think this part of the Doral College program is so cool to me. Is this is a charter school founded college, and it's really built to kind of serve the schools that it's serving. And one of the ways that it does this is through this teacher ed program, where Doral College, with these charter school partnerships, can identify students as young as 8th grade that have potential to be teachers, and can put them through the dual enrollment program to get their first 2 years of college, and then transition them into the bachelor's program in education, where in 2 years they can get a teaching degree and go right back into the charter schools that taught them and become teachers. And you can cultivate teachers at a young age, which seems to me to be a great way to address this teacher shortage.
And by the way, it's something that our alumni, and I'm going to talk about only one of the networks, right? Because I collected that data for when we got the accreditation.
Yeah.
At Matter Academy, we now have 58 former students that are working as teachers.
Wow.
In our schools.
Wow.
Yeah, even though...
Talk about growing your own talent.
Yes,
wow.
Even though our first graduating class of the first high school, that was the one I was principal at, we started graduating the first class in 2006. By 2008, we were already graduating a student with the Associate of Arts degree. And then the story continues. Like in this year, 2021, my academy graduated 128 students with Associate of Arts degree. So that make it very easy for the students to complete. And they like the schools and they come back to work there. So
Yeah.
I think that is one of the things, and I know that is true of Somerset, it's true of Pinecrest, but because we were graduating probably earlier, we have a lot of our students coming back, not only to the high school where they graduated, but they're also working in our elementary schools. And I think that that's what make our program successful. But I'm super excited now that for next year, even though right now we are serving 73 schools in Dade County with their Title II funds,
Yeah.
with our own professional development. We are qualified by the state to offer the three most needed endorsements, which are the reading endorsement, ESOL endorsement, and gifted endorsement.
And so these are endorsements that teachers need.
That teachers need, teachers that are already certified. Let's say somebody's certified in language art, but they're teaching reading to students that are low level. That person needs to get a special certification. It's called an endorsement that requires 5 courses directly in reading. And we are allowed, and we are offering those courses, and we're offering them in a different modality. We're doing it online, and we're competing because we are charging a very reasonable amount. It's $300 a course,
Wow.
which is $100 per college credit, upper division, which is very inexpensive. And guess what? We are doing it every 8 weeks. We are offering those courses. We opened the first set of courses just for our 73 schools. We opened them in the computer for people to register on October 7th at noon. October 7th at 2:30 p.m. 4 of the 5 courses were sold out.
I can imagine at $100 a credit that's going to
No.
sell out. Ross, you're just finishing college right now. Don't you wish you could have paid $100 a
But
credit?
the best part about it is because we're selling it to students, we have managed to do it with the schools and with their own Title II money. It's zero tuition. for
That's
the
incredible.
teacher.
And so you're at the Florida Charter School Conference right now telling charter school stakeholders about this endorsement
About this.
program.
I just got through talking to another group of charter schools that were very interested on the endorsement, but also that we are offering professional development to all of our teachers. We just finished because also for the college, the students that do student teaching need to be supervised by a teacher that have the credentials for clinical supervision. And we just had 3 of our own administrators, Ana Diaz from Pinecrest, Tina Guillen from Somerset, and Frank Jimenez from Matter. They
That's
are
an all-star team right
certified
there.
from the state to offer the clinical supervision. And we just finished a group, and we are doing another 59 people in December and January. So our intention is to have at least 3 or 4 teachers at each one of our schools that have the credentials to supervise interns. So it's exciting because that also helps those teachers that are coaches to help their beginning teachers,
Yeah.
to help others if that are already teachers and that are struggling.
Wow, I'm so excited for what Doral College is going to be doing in the near future, and I can't help but think about how far Doral College has come and just what its overall vision is, and it's really an outlier in higher education. You know, there's not a lot of schools like it. Can you, for the people who are not acquainted with Doral College, can you give us just a little bit of background about the school as a whole?
Okay, Doral College, we started like in 2011 or 12.
I think it was officially 2011. I think the
2011,
first class came in 2012.
And what happened at that point is we were trying to obtain certificate accreditation because in order for college credit to survive, you had to be accredited. And then it went through the first president, the second president got it accredited to DIAC, which is Distance Education Association. of Colleges
Distance
and
Education
Universities.
Accrediting Commission. Yeah.
Accrediting Commission. And then as we became fully accredited, the next step was to make our courses transferable to Florida. So that was another big milestone because all of our courses are on the same numbering system of state colleges and universities in Florida.
So even though
it's a seamless transition.
even though
students-
Doral College is not a state college, university, most of the credits that are earned there, if not almost all of them, are transferable to any state university in Florida.
Correct. And the fact is, the matter is that we are it takes a while, and every course that we open has to be approved by the state of Florida, because we are approved by the state of Florida. You could see it on FLDOE as an education that we could produce education courses. And now we're in the process of becoming an EPI, Educational Provider Institution,
Oh, yeah.
which is going to give us some more ways to help beginning teachers. So we're excited about that. And we also very excited about all the programs we're doing for our beginning teachers through the Doral Leadership Institute. Like right now, classroom management, everything that a teacher needs, that trade of tools. And most of our courses are taught by practicing principals and assistant principals.
That's really a big,
is huge.
Yeah, that's a unique component of your School of Ed program. This isn't a traditional education program where the teacher is just sort of spending time in a college classroom learning theory. It's very much a learning by doing program, very practicum based. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Very much so. We are following, obviously, the guidelines of the state of Florida to get teachers certified. But because the majority of our education majors work at one of our schools, they get the opportunity to do observations during their field hours for each of their courses on methodology. And then when they get to do the student teaching, they're going to do it at schools that they're very familiar with, which is one of the reasons that we are preparing a lot of teachers to have clinical supervision, so that they do the real preparation, the real requirements of the state of Florida when they're supervising an intern. And I think that's very exciting. But it's also exciting for current teachers. We are offering the courses, like many people that come into the profession, particularly in secondary schools, they got a degree in biology.
Mm-hmm.
I used, for many years when I was a high school principal, I said, we got a lot of people that wanted to be doctors, didn't realize it's too many years, and they become biology teachers or chemistry teachers. And they know a lot of biology, and they know a lot of chemistry, but they do not know the first thing about how to convey that knowledge with a bunch of teenagers that are not interested in the subject. So the state of Florida is wise enough to give these people what is called a temporary permission to teach, a statement of eligibility. Yes, they got everything they need in biology or in mathematics or in social sciences. Because, by the way, social science, many of them wanted to be lawyers in the first place, then they decided to teach. So these people have the subject-based knowledge, but had no pedagogy. They had no way of knowing how to teach these students.
Yeah, classroom management, pedagogy, things like that.
Exactly. How do you get a kid motivated? How do you divide kids in groups? How do you do
lesson planning
strategies, classroom lesson planning, which we did a tremendous session here with Ulysse Salazar and Italia on direct instruction. How do you teach? How do you advance? Acceleration as opposed to remediation. This is needed. So, through Doral College, we are approved to give those courses to these people that are in a temporary certificate and need to get the education courses. And that was another one that we just offer for the first time. And we offer one of the courses, which is the how to teach ESOL students. It got subscribed in an hour and a half. So,
fill up so fast.
Only with our 73 schools. So I'm super excited about when we open it next year to the entire state.
Well,
I think it's going to be.
Forget about a teacher shortage. It sounds like Doral College needs to hire some professors quick.
Yes,
to teach all these courses you're filling up.
That's one of the things that Guillermo, who's the Vice President for Academic Affairs, he's been interviewing people and having them on the back burner, so they'll be ready, because already on the undergraduate programs, we went up from 3,700 enrollment last fall. We're up to 4,600 enrollment this fall. And
it's incredible.
Now I think January is going to go way up.
Yeah, that's so exciting. For the folks out there watching who want to learn more about Doral College, maybe want to learn more about these endorsement course programs for their employees at their schools, where would you tell them to go?
Well, if they're here in the conference.
That's right. Go find Judy at the table.
Yeah, booth 709.
There you go.
In the exhibit hall. But if not, just information at Doral. Is it at Doral?
Doral.edu.
Doral.edu, and look us up on the website, doral.edu, and please free to call us, email us. We will respond.
Fantastic. Madam President, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this fantastic college that I love being a part of. And so many of the people I know that work with Doral College or are served by Doral College love the work that the school is doing. And we appreciate you taking the time. We know you have so many things to do today. And the fact that you saved some time for us here at this table, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, it was a pleasure.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It's all mine.
Yeah.
The views expressed on the preceding program have been those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Academica, its clients, staff, affiliates, or advertisers.